With the brand new update to PvP came also a refresh to the loot pool in the Prophecy dungeon, reviving some ancient weapons in Destiny 2's past, but alongside those new weapons we also got an updated perk pool on the Darkest Before as well. It now also gets the benefit of an origin trait, so it's objectively going to be better than the same role a month ago would have been. So today, we're going to unpack the updated Darkest Before and see if it's worth your time to grind and use in PvP in the updated sandbox. This video is a two-parter though, so stick around for the second half. The outline is going to be fairly simple because complex things confuse me quickly. We'll just go with good news, bad news. Let's kick things off with the good news. Here's a quick flyby of the base stats on the Darkest Before instead of going line by line and comparing it to 12 other pulses. It's a rapid-fire frame pulse rifle in the energy slot. Bungie just changed its energy type from arc to solar, so now it integrates with solar builds pretty well. In terms of base stats, Darkest Before is a genuine contender in its family, right? One rapid-fire pulse people are familiar with, due to its recency, is the scalar potential, so I'll use that as a reference point here. Darkest Before has considerably more base range, reaching about a full meter further than the scalar potential before experiencing damage drop-off. That's a big factor. It also has more stability, has more handling, and it has a much better recoil direction, which is generally vertical. Moving on to the perk pool, Bungie decided to juice this thing up now, right? It used to have like a strong first column and a weak second column, but now I think it's sort of inverted. The first column does have some solid choices though, with Wellspring, Subsistence, Deconstruct, Heal Clip, which just got buffed, Elemental Capacitor, and Attrition Orbs, which is currently hot garbage. Wellspring is what I'm using on my role because obviously we're dealing with shorter or longer cooldowns on our abilities in the current sandbox, so I thought that Wellspring might be a good way to compensate for that as I'm getting eliminations, as I'm getting final blows with my pulse rifle. I'll be generating energy across the board to any and all of my abilities that are not actively cooled down, which worked fairly well with the throwing knife build that I'm using in the gameplay in the background. I do wish that it gave you a bigger chunk of energy, but it is what it is. But moving on to the second column, it's got Surplus, which could synergize with Wellspring, One for All, Kill Clip, Incandescent, Focused Fury, and Head Seeker. So I'm going to be real with you, Kill Clip is new on this thing, and it's probably the most likely choice here. But you could also play around with Incandescent with a crowd control Scorch build too. I mean, you could use like Incinerator Snap with that. I mean, there's a lot of different things you could synergize to make big booms with Incandescent. Honestly, there are some solid combinations here. In the first column, I think you run Wellspring, Heal Clip, or Ellie Cap. In the second column, for me, it's Kill Clip or Incandescent, or maybe Surplus for raw dueling. I personally really get down with Surplus. I think the benefits that you get to stability, handling, and reload are really, really good, like bang for your buck. So you only need to have a couple of abilities cooled down actively to get some like huge mileage out of that perk. Other people don't like it because of the inconsistency. Your gun's base stats are always changing based on what you've got cooled down. Personally, I don't find that to be a big factor, but it's up to personal preference. Beyond that, we've got the new origin trait called Crossing Over, which buffs the range and handling on the top half of your magazine, and it gives a very small damage buff on the bottom half of your magazine. This is an excellent origin trait for the record, especially that top half buff to range and handling. I'm a big fan. And now when it comes to practical applications of this weapon though, the gameplay in the background, I think it shows that this gun can ball. Right, you saw some gameplay from a We Ran Out of Metals with it. You've seen some great kill chaining with Kill Clip, some laser beam bursts from my current role with Wellspring and Kill Clip and Arrowhead Break. The gun has great potential in PvP, but here's where we switch to part 2 of the video. It's the bad news. Are you ready for it? Rapid fire frame pulse rifles suck ass in the new sandbox. I said it. I hate that I said it because I love rapid fire frames. They're my favorite pulses. But they do suck right now. And it's not because they got worse. It's because everyone lost their spines. In the more competitive lobbies that I queue into, people aren't going to let me run around kill chaining with a rapid fire pulse rifle. They're going to stand at the end of a long lane with an Igneous Hammer Adept, or a Messenger, or Dead Man's Tail, or even the new Relentless, and they're going to do enormous chunk damage in a single trigger pull. And then if they don't kill me, they're going to move up on me while I'm really, really weak and finish me off with a shotgun. That's the meta right now. Rapid fire frame pulse rifles require you to close gaps, have perfect precision against top tier weapons in order to hang with them, and then you're barely going to have any time on the kill clip buff by the time you recover your health, unless you're running heal clip with it. This meta right now is all about precision weapons with rapid TTKs and big chunk damage. Rapid fire pulses really struggle to find their footing in that environment. You experience damage drop off on your pulse before those other things do, and those other pulses are 2 bursting for a 0.6 second TTK. Frankly, I don't see rapid fire frame pulses being very popular in the coming months as people experience less success with them and get pushed towards those other weapons I listed above. They're brawlers, they're berserkers, but they're in a sandbox where brawlers and berserkers die in no man's land. And beyond that, if you want a kill clip rapid fire frame pulse rifle, then I feel like you may as well just use Horror's Least. Same range, but more stability and more aim assist, a slightly better recoil direction, but has access to Zen Moment, and you can focus it. Or you may already have the God roll on an Adept version, which is even better. When it all comes down to it, here's my final verdict on the Darkest Before. It's a great pulse within its subfamily, but not the best. It's a scrappy fighter in a meta of one-punch men. It's like playing as Sheik against a guy with a modded Captain Falcon that gives Falcon Punch triple the range and no cooldown. I think this gun will struggle to find traction, and those who are able to leverage it with consistent success will be players with extremely high game sense, awareness, and aim talent with little deviation from perfection. So I encourage you, get a good roll on this weapon for the fun game modes like Supremacy, but when that goes away, you might have a hard time getting much mileage out of it in Control, Comp, or Trials, unless you're just really, really good. And that's the review. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching the video today. I really appreciate each and every one of you. If you enjoyed it or found it helpful in any way, then please consider leaving a like in the video, as that's the best free way to support my content, and consider subscribing for additional Destiny 2 videos as we're getting super close to that 300,000 milestone. And if I get there, I think my dad might put me back in the will finally. I don't know. Maybe we'll have to see. Time will tell. And if you've got a Darkest Before that you really jive with, or if you have different feelings about the Darkest Before, that's great. Feel free to let me know in the comment section below. Be warm and well fed, my friends. Good luck in all of your farming endeavors. And I do hope to catch you in the Crucible.